And good morning to the Drive Tribe. We are a little bit late, but we're here. I wasn't here Tuesday. You're probably wondering why. I really couldn't explain it. I just did not feel like doing it and didn't get up. And I had some work stuff to do. So, yeah, not a lot of explanation to that other than just I was worn out. So, apologize. Did you miss me? I missed you. I'm going to try something today that we haven't tried before. Let me just see if it works. Think it'll work. Let's go here. We are going to test something out. And then I'm going to do, is it like at highlight? I can't remember. Yeah, there it is. Boom. We'll just see if that helps. All right, it is a very, very special day. Very special day to me, very special day to my wife, and a very special day to a little young one by the name of Brooklyn. And I want to wish her a happy birthday because it is her 10th birthday. We are now in the double digits. Isn't that crazy? It is so easy for time to pass quickly as a parent. What do they say? The days go slow, the years go fast. I think that is very true. We all see the challenges of being a parent, of trying to pay attention, which is what our subject is today. Did anybody see that squirrel? We, as parents, it's really tough for us. As the challenge is, we've got to pay attention to our children. We've got to continue to pay attention to our mate. We've got to continue to pay attention to our job. And we have those challenges, right? We're not a computer. We cannot multi-thread or multitask, and we'll get into that here in just a second. So let's talk about that. Let's get to a position where we are right here, right now, all together. And let's take a deep breath. Okay, we're not 5 minutes from now, and we're not 2 years ago or 40 years ago or 2 meetings ago. We are present. And the reason why this is important is we cannot multitask. There was a gentleman that came to Southwire and gave a speech. His name is Dr. Steve Robbins. And he's a very intelligent guy from Michigan State. Has a very powerful story if you ever want to go out and read about it. But one of the things that he mentioned specifically is that your brain does not multitask. It monotasks. And that constantly switching tasks actually pulls us away, and every switch will cost us energy, focus, and quite frankly, a piece of your soul. You're giving up a little something of yourself every time you have to switch back and forth. Now, I'm going to tell you, in today's day and age, one of the things that causes you grief and probably anxiety, and you as a one of the things that causes you grief, anxiety, it causes you to struggle, is you're not present. So think about this. You're at home, you're on your phone, you're swiping away, whatever you're doing. You're listening to a TV show, whatever it is. If you have headphones in, your brain is partially there and your brain is partially somewhere else. It's in the moment of the TV show, whatever it may be. And you only have so much visual memory that you can use to process. So when somebody then talks to you, let's say it's a non-important part of the show, you weren't really paying attention, not going to bother you. But let's say somebody talks to you in the very most important, like high edge of your seat type of moment. They don't know that they're disturbing that because you have your headphones in. But what they're doing is they're sucking you out of a world that you were in and bringing you back to the present. And it can be very disorienting and very annoying or aggravating to you because you've been ripped out of this thing that you were really interested in and pulled over back into the real world for that moment. And in the past, that wasn't necessarily the case. So like when you used to watch a TV show, the TV was the only place you could watch a TV show. You weren't watching it on an individualized device. And I think you can observe this. If you can't observe it in yourself, observe it in your children. Give them a tablet. Let them watch a show on the tablet. They're absorbed in that. Now go tell them it's time for dinner without any warning. And watch how mad they get. Mom, I was so interested in what I was doing. Or, Mom, let me finish my show. Dad, What do why do I need to take the trash out right now? I'm in the middle of a game. It's because they are not really here with you. They are there in the game, in the movie, in the whatever is. And that is, just a small visualization of what happens when you try to multitask. Studies show that you are 40% less efficient or effective, and your productivity drops by that amount whenever you try to multitask. You do not multitask, you monotask, and you switch between them. So think about this. If you were trying to juggle a chainsaw while replying to Slack and you were blindfolded, that's the equivalent of the behavior of trying to always multitask. We cannot do it. And look, unlike, Jack Nicholson, I think you all can handle the truth. The truth is, and quite frankly, Lil Wayne gave us this life lesson for less than the price of a CD. You could have just downloaded the song. He said it like this: life on the edge. I'm dangling my feet. I tried to pay attention, but attention paid me. Think about that. Attention does pay, right? If you can pay attention, you will be more effective at your job. Imagine if you were 40% more effective at what you were trying to do at any one task. How much faster you would accomplish it, how much more, how much better the work product, whatever you were doing, the spreadsheet, the analysis, the thinking you were doing, how much better would it be if you could give it 40% more, right? Lil Wayne also said, haters can't see me nosebleed seats, and, today I went shopping and talk is still cheap. We'll talk about that another day. We're your haters. See you later. There's another lesson there, but we're not going to get into it. It pays to pay attention. It pays to be present in the moment. Think back to this. I don't know if y'all are Marvel fans. I'm a big Marvel fan. The big payoff of 22 different movies that we all probably paid more attention to than the new movies. Why? Well, because going to the theater meant something. I was investing my time, my money. The streaming services weren't as popular in the beginning when the first Iron Man came out. There was just a whole different culture of experiencing that movie. You didn't want to miss one. There weren't as many of them. You waited a year in anticipation and excitement. But think about that payoff. They're on Titan. They're fighting Thanos. And Doctor Strange, he's trying to be in 14 million timelines at once. He's there and his head's twitching and everything else. Look at how exhausted he looked coming out of that. He's got a time stone, right? He's got these mystical powers. What do you have? You got caffeine and a Google Calendar. You got an iced coffee and your Outlook, right? You're not going to be able to look at 14 million things at once. You just can't do it. So stop trying to be everywhere and be everything all the time, or you could end up in the situation of the guy that we're going to talk about in the story time of the day. So let's transition to that. So this was a manager, and they were always trying to fit just too much into their day, right? They didn't block off or manage their calendar. They just let the meetings come. They took them as they happen. And in this particular day, they were left with no choice. They're on teams, and they just can't hold it in. I don't know if it was the iced coffee, maybe it was too much dairy, whatever it is, they got to go to the bathroom. They got to do it, and it's during this meeting. And instead of sending the BRB in the chat and stepping away, they decided to take the call from the bathroom. I know you see it coming. You know what happened. It all started off great. They didn't have to speak, so cameras off, mics muted. Their confidence is high. They're like, okay, I'm going to pull this off. I'm going to get away with it, until one wrong move, and that's all it took. It was the flush heard round the world. What's the moral of the story? Be fully present, and maybe mute twice and flush once. I'm just saying. So if you can stay focused, you can avoid not only these embarrassing situations, but you can be more successful. And here's how leaders stay locked in. I just told you, you're not a computer. The term multitasking really became part of the popular vernacular when the computer was invented, because computers would then have multi-threading, multitasking, and they would have segmented parts of the computer chip running. So how do you do it? You're a one tab at a time hero. You're not Google Chrome. You don't need 15 tabs open. Be focused on the one thing that's very important. If you can, focus in on one screen. And especially true, focus in on one human, right? If you're talking to a person, be talking to that person. Be present in that moment. And if you're not, let them know, like, hey, I'm not going to be able to handle this right now. And this is far less often, but now we're back to the return to office. Somebody comes by your cubicle. You got a minute. If you don't, I will in a little bit. I'm really focused right now. I'll catch up with you later. Boom, you're back to what you're doing. You were very nice. You were very kind. You showed love to them, like, hey, I'll get, put some time on my calendar or come back to me in a little bit, and I'll get back with you. It's okay. And then second, embrace the sacred nod. Presence doesn't have to be profound. You just have to be present. A thoughtful little nod, that's interesting. You're going to keep people engaged, and you'll stay engaged. And it's not always about like, hey, look, I'm waiting for my turn to talk. We've talked about that before. And then finally, no time traveling. You don't have a time stone. Quit rehearsing the awkward thing you said in 2014. Stop presenting your Nobel Prize speech for an idea you haven't had yet. Stop having an argument with yourself before you've even made the phone call to the customer, your significant other, your mom, your dad, whatever. Lead now. That's where the magic is. Be in the present. It is a gift. That's why we call it the present. I know that's not really why we call it the present, but we can play that game, right? Let's think about it that way. Let's be in the now. And with that, in the now, let's transition to the verse of the day. And we're going to go to Exodus 3:14. So let me just pull up the old Bible app. Y'all have any comments, any questions? I see 2 people are watching. Any thoughts? Can somebody give me a happy birthday shout out? Oh, they dropped off. Look at that. I was trying to get them to do a little happy birthday to Brooklyn, but all right, that's fine. I know y'all got things going on this morning. Y'all show her some love on the replay. Uh-oh. It's okay to be silent sometimes too. So in this, God is talking to Moses, and Moses is asking in Exodus 3:13, then Moses said to God, if I come to the people of Israel and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you, and they ask me, what is his name? What shall I say to them? Thank you, Beth. God said to Moses, I am who I am. Thank you, Jenny. And he said, say this to the people of Israel, I am has sent me to you. God also said to Moses, say this to the people of Israel, the Lord of the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob has sent me to you. This is my name forever, and thus I am to be remembered throughout all generations. So in this case, God is really leaning in to let people know that he is faithful. He's always been who he is. He will always be the same today, yesterday, and tomorrow. And that is because we serve a God that lives outside of time, space, and matter and has seen it all, and the battle has already been won. And that's why he can say he is, I am. Just I am. So you're not God also, just as you all know that. So you can't exist outside of time, space, and matter. So stop trying to. Exist in the moment that you're in. That's your responsibility. Be present in it and lead in the moment you're in. What is the final thought here? You can't lead people you're too distracted to see. If they don't know you're there because you're somewhere else, you cannot lead them. Stop time hopping. Close the apps, and for the love of Wi-Fi, mute responsibly. So if you are going to take a bathroom break, double check that mute button. I would suggest hit them with the BRB in chat, go use the restroom, come back, have somebody take notes, have somebody record. It's okay. And if you can, here's a practice that I use, just a tactical one. If you're going to have back-to-back meetings, you can ask the people that are doing the back-to-back meetings, sometimes, hey, can you shorten this by 5 minutes? You're right on top of another one. Or can you move it 5 minutes? So in some cases, for example, one we do every Wednesday, we've now moved it to 3:15. Why? Well, because we had another meeting that was bumping right up against 3 o'clock. And we had one that was right after that at 3, at 4. And so it was like, okay, we got to do like a 3:15 to 3:45 here. We cannot, we got to give ourselves some time on each side of this, because there's transit time for some of the people that we're dealing with. Like, they got to walk from one room to the next to have their next meeting. So we're wanting to give them time, hey, to stop by the restroom, grab a water. Maybe they're talking a lot in a meeting, and stay focused on what they need to be focused on. So you are powerful as a person, and more powerful, up to 40% more powerful, if you can stay focused on the single task. Stop trying to multitask. And just so you know, like listening to music while you read, that is a little bit different than multitasking. Why? Because it uses two separate places of the brain, and allows you to do both. How can people play guitar and sing at the same time? A lot of that is about they build the ability to automate the task with playing guitar because they've played it so many times. If you're a guitarist, imagine, the first time you ever play the guitar and sing at the same time on a single song, and you haven't practiced it enough. There's always a lot more energy required to do that. But once you've memorized the chords and your hands know where to go, now your mind is focused on the words, the audience, the presence that you can have on stage. It's the same thing for us. If we've automated a task, loading the dishwasher, we can do a lot of other things while we're loading the dishwasher. We can be talking about our day. We can, sing a song. We can talk to our kids. We can listen to a movie, whatever it is. But if it's something that requires your attention, I would suggest, lower the distractions and really focus in. I love you. I want y'all to be as successful as you can be. Another happy birthday to my daughter, Brooklyn. She's very important to me. And she has learned about focus at gymnastics, as an example. So y'all wish her a happy birthday in the comments. She'll love to read them. Go and have a fantastic day. I want you to be as successful as you can be. I want you to be invested in what's important to you. Make that list like we talked about the things we're going to focus on and the things we can't control. That's just another form of distraction, thinking about the things that we can't control and burning up empty calories when we should be focused on the things we can control. With that, I do have to go focus on getting the kids ready for school and being a good partner to my wife and giving my daughter a big hug. So, see you real soon, because at the end of the day, the day got to end.